Service time for the Territory. We're going to change the transmission transfer case oil. So transmission has been sorted by Ford. They actually did a pretty much a whole changeover internally, minus the, I'll have to check what they did, but it was the 6R80 that this has global recall and had some speed sensor output issues. So yeah, the gearbox itself has basically had its guts replaced, all fresh fluid and everything like that, but obviously the transfer case is separate to that and runs on a different oil. They didn't touch that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now, because it's got a little bit of a shudder or a bind up sort of thing when you're turning and accelerating or decelerating. You can hear it sort of like clunk and sort of get a bit of a bind up. And apparently, if it's not diff bushes, which again is a very common problem with these cars and Falcons, etc., it would usually be transfer case fluid. It causes that for some reason, so we're going to change it out, being a relatively simple and cheap job, and go from there. So we need about 1.5 or 1.4 litres of oil, and this is the oil that they recommend. The Ford Mercon 5 is the type of oil that you need. Different to the gearbox oil. The gearbox oil is another type of full synthetic fluid, but it's ATF FSLV or something like that. It's got a different specification, so don't mix these two up. Transfer case oil, and there's a different type of oil for the auto box itself, and the auto box I think takes 9 or 10 litres or something like that. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I get it wrong, but basically, yeah, it has all of those specifications there, which match what we need to do. The transfer case itself is this bad boy right here. So right there you can see is the drain plug there, and up there is the fill plug. So basically we need to undo the drain plug, drain out the old oil, undo the fill plug, put the drain plug back in and refill at the fill point until it overflows out, and that is it. Click it, you screw it back in, and we're done. Alrighty, so we're going to start by just cracking these off. Come on. They shouldn't be done up very tight at all. No. Don't even need to jack the car up for this, actually. There we go. Look at all that oil. Undo the fill plug while I'm here. Come on, line up. Oh. Okay. The drain and the fill plugs are identical. Sometimes you might see the drain plug has a little magnetic filter on it or something like that. But yeah, this case it doesn't. Alrighty, so most of that's drained out, all of it's gone. Put that drain plug back in, and we will just tighten him up a little bit. Not very tight. It wasn't very tight to begin with. Okay, now we will fill it back up. Alrighty, so the first litre of oil. Now these aren't really the easiest things to maneuver in here. Some of them come with squeezy packs in a different brand, but I chose to get this one for whatever reason. Hopefully you can see a nice close-up of my face. Oh, there is a bit of a void in here. If I can get in a little bit further. There we go. You probably can't see anything, can you? Let me get myself in a better position. Oh. I don't know if I can get much more in there with that one. Alrighty, I'm on the second bottle, not because I've used all of it in that bottle, but because I've kind of got to the point where it's not coming out of that bottle on the angle that I can get to, so that's all good. These bottles were like $13.95 each on special, so it's really cost effective. You know, it doesn't cost a lot, in other words. It's a very cheap thing to do. So if I use the two bottles, I use the two bottles, have a little bit left over, make it one bottle, all good. Still not there yet. Might need to put some more into this bottle from the other bottle. So I'm just putting the contents of this bottle into this bottle so I can put a little bit more in. We're not quite at the full mark yet. Alright, that's about it. So out of the 2 litres, we've got about, we're nearly there. The capacity is about 1.4 litres and we've got 600 or so in this bottle. So probably 1 or 2 more pumps and that's going to start overflowing out of that fill hole, which means that we're full. Oh, see, look, it's coming out. Can you see that? That means we're full. So we'll just let it do its thing and equalize out. Extra falls out that doesn't need to be in there. Obviously the car is on level ground in the garage here. When that stops dripping so much, we'll put the bung back in the top and Bob will be your uncle. Alright, so we just nipped them up just to that little bit of, not very tight, but exactly how they were really. Just sort of nip them up a little bit, make sure that one's all good. Yep. Nip it up, all good? Yep. Okay. Just wipe up some of this oil around the spot there. And we should go for a little drive.
Dad, like the Coke. Dad, can this is Coke?
Yes.
Coke is...
I've got a little helper. All right. So I think that's good. We'll go for a bit of a drive to see if that made a difference. Wow, what a difference. I honestly am speechless. I could not believe the amount of difference that changing the transfer case oil in this made. It doesn't do that sort of, I guess, IRS diff wobble that, you know, sort of like old Nissan Skylines and stuff. They get that sort of, you know, jittery rear end, and that's kind of what it felt like. I thought I was up for diff bushes, which is, you know, $1,000 exercise if you take it somewhere to get done, just because of the labor that's involved. And I thought, oh, you know, I've just been putting it off, but turns out changing the transfer case oil was all it needed. So upon reflection, I'm thinking, okay, when you're doing like, you know, car park turning or turning around a roundabout or in and out of driveways and stuff, you can kind of feel it binding up and like jiggling and things like that, and that is now completely gone. Fresh belly of oil, which is only 1.5 litres or 1.4 litres, and it's mint. So for under 30 bucks, I got the oil on special, but it's probably going to be around $30-$35 for the 2 litres that you'll need, or, you know, 1.5 litres that you'll need. Honestly, give it a go. Takes bugger all time to do. Don't need to jack the car up because it's a territory. It's, unless you've lowered it, which, yeah. And yeah, dead simple to do. No tools involved aside from a ratchet and a drip pan basically. So get on it and hope you enjoyed this.